I think that's probably the essence, and it's why it's so hard to give a master class, because the composer's standing here saying, what the hell is he talking about? But really what I care deeply about is surprise. There were some really good moments where there was a big change, bang, 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 something like that, and that really kind of was like cold water in my face, and I liked that. There's a tendency to throw a lot of notes at the wall, and I have this problem myself. I get so angry at myself when I hear a piece finally, and I realize, you know, there's just too many notes in it.
Thank you. That was really good. Dank je wel.
Hello, everyone. Well, you know, I'm supposed to say something critical, and it's very hard because, you know, I like the piece very much, and it was very well played. So, you know, maybe the best way to get into this is just have a little dialogue with you. What was your first image when you started working on the piece?
Oof, my first image is a while ago, let me think. Well, myself, I feel sometimes a bit isolated from the rest of the outside world. And I wanted to capture that in music. So I thought, okay, first I was also thinking about the story. So what kind of story can I make that also can influence and the image, the visual, and the music. And they kind of came together. So I was drawing the drawings and I was making the music and they influenced each other. And I don't know, I had this, it's my own feeling of isolation and feeling alienated, yeah. Yeah, it all came together like that in the music.
You're lucky.
I'm lucky.
You're lucky. Because for me, starting a piece is just, it's hell. And you know, I've been composing for most of my life, and I'm supposed to be a famous composer, and you know, I'm alone in my studio, and I'm absolutely ashamed of my ideas. They're so bad when I start a new piece. And you know, I don't know how many composers are in the room here? Oh, too many. I think half of you should become lawyers or businessmen. But I just, you know, I wanted to say that it never gets any easier starting a piece, because when we start a piece, in a sense, it's very much like a biological process. It's almost like conception, you know. We have to understand what the genetic identity of each piece is, and I think being a good composer is identifying what it is, what makes the piece special. And I really admire composers. Let's say, for example, Messiaen or maybe Morton Feldman, in that they found something that was so immediately identifiable theirs. I mean, when you hear a Morton Feldman piece, you know, instantly it's Morton Feldman. You hear a piece of mine, you think, who's that? Sometimes it takes, you know, 10 seconds, or I hope not longer than that. And so the first question that I asked Celia was, you know, what the sound image was. How did you? Was it the very airy chord at the beginning, or did you have a image of the whole piece, or?
No. I think I started with that melody, and I think the whole piece is based around that. So it's I also wanted to play with time, so that you kind of lose sense of time. So that's what you heard in the piano, that it starts. And I have this number system that I...
Yes, yeah. I can always tell with a piece when there's a what we call a hidden mathematical agenda.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, and I caught that. So it's like a pulse that is a complex pulse. In other words, not perfect
No.
Rhythmically,
Yeah.
it changes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
very evident. I think that's probably, I would imagine everybody, we all locked into that, noticing the piano pulse and how it changed. What I really liked is after the opening when it went down to the lower tessitura and the harmony changed, which is, I'm so grateful for that. Because if we're, to my mind, if you're using music that has any kind of harmonic, polarity to it, any kind of harmonic feel to it, you really you have a responsibility to move the harmony, and I think you did. I think you did quite well there.
Thank you.
Most of the pieces that you love and that you remember have a very vivid opening. I mean, it doesn't have to be ba-ba-ba-ba, although that is a very good opening. But you understand what I mean. Even something like, as supposedly vague as the Nocturnes of Debussy, there's still an image that is vivid, that calls you into it. And I would say maybe your next piece, think about an opening that just has a little more information in it.
But can I ask why you think that's important? Is it to catch somebody's attention?
No, it's not. It's not a question of, engaging the audience. I think it's simply. Well, yes, it is. I guess.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, the thing. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We're communicating with an audience, and a lot of composers just feel, well, I have this thing I'm going to do, and they lay it out, and it fulfills all of your needs, but you might lose half of the faith of your audience if your opening doesn't have everything that you could possibly put in it. I'm being, I'm in risky territory here because I think in this case you do have a plan and you're being faithful.
Yeah, I didn't want to give away everything right away from the start.
Well, I think you can. I think you can give a lot of information and still not give it all away.
Well, then I'm still interested. If you would write the beginning, what would you do if you say?
What would I do?
You said you can do a lot without giving everything away. Like you can do something that catches the attention without giving all the information away for the rest of the piece. So.
Yeah. I was just saying, there's a sort of a general thing, maybe for your next piece. Because I get a lot of pieces that where the event horizon is rather plain at the opening, and it might be just interesting for you to think of something that's maybe different, maybe a little more engaging.
Right. Okay.
I don't think you go with me on that, but
no, I'm just thinking what I could do for this, how it could be different. Just composing in my head to think, could be that or this.
I would say that it's for a short piece, it goes for quite a long time with essentially no change. I mean, you set it up, you have the pulse in the piano, and then you have the entrance of the instruments, and you have the melody out. But for a short piece, the form probably needs to reflect the actual duration of the piece. And I felt that it just went on without really engaging my imaginative participation. That it seems a little bit deliberate, and I probably could have taken something that was a surprise. I think that's probably the essence. And it's why it's so hard to give a master class, because the composer's standing here saying, what the hell is he talking about? But really what I care deeply about is surprise. And with so many pieces you get, okay, here's what I'm doing, and it goes on and on and on to work out some kind of pattern, might be mathematical or something like that. And that's probably the issue that I'm getting at. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah.
Maybe we should listen to it again.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Good luck.